Alrighty, welcome back, fellas. Today we have Thursday night football plays. I have 4 of them for you. I have 2 Chargers, 2 Broncos. Pretty simple. Not going to get it off. I think I actually have 4 Chargers. I think I have 3 Chargers, excuse me, 1 Bronco. Either way, we have 4 plays for you. Let's waste no time. Let's hop straight into it. We're going to be starting here on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure if you're not on Underdog Fantasy, you get on Underdog Fantasy using code BDGE when you sign up. Not only will you get a free square of Justin Herbert to go for just half a yard, but you'll also get up to $1,000 in deposit match bonuses, so make sure you take advantage. But we're going to be starting with Justin Herbert, and we're going to be taking him to go under an interception. Obviously, again, my screen right now, it's very early on, so there will be more plays out on Underdog, and it might be different on your phone. Sometimes desktop to phone is different, but it will be on Underdog. But for now, we're taking Justin Herbert under half an interception. He's not hit this line damn near the entire season. He didn't hit this the first time versus Denver. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game, run-heavy game. I'm taking the under in this game as well. If we go to the game, look at the lines. The over-under is 42.5. I don't think it gets there. All of the money is on the under. 72% of people are taking the under. And if you're wondering what this screen is, it is Pickett. Make sure you sign up using code BDG when you sign up on Pickett. It's absolutely free. Plus, you'll be able to tell me in all the bets that we've been taking all month and throughout these weeks. But under on the total, which means I feel like it's going to be a pretty easy game for Justin Herbert to control. Again, he's had a lot of short passes in this offense. He's not slinging the ball into harm's way very often. Now that they don't have a run game, it's a little bit scary of a pick. You're getting into minus 130. So again, the value's a little bit there compared to earlier in the season when it was almost minus 145, minus 150 because of how well they could run the ball. They can't run the ball as well right now with Gus Edwards as he is just a bad running back. It leads to them having to pass more against a tough Broncos defense, but the Broncos run a ton of man, which makes you feel better about it. Justin Herbert has a very, very high completion percentage against man coverage this season. So again, looking at this play, he's barely thrown any picks. We can actually look at the exact amount of picks he's thrown. I think it actually is 2. Justin Herbert this season has thrown 2 interceptions. So I definitely like this line. I definitely like under this line. I think he easily goes under, and we're getting some value here at minus 130. But we're going to go to our next play again. We're going to waste no time. We just fire through the plays per usual. I don't want to sit here and yap to you guys for 30 minutes about plays when I can just give them to you. You can lock them in, and we can keep it moving. If you have any questions, I do post all my write-ups on Twitter, on BDGEBets, and as well as my own Twitter at Nick Guthrie, and as well as I post all the plays in the Discord, so make sure you lock in those. But we're going to take Gus Edwards to go under 10.5 longest rush. I feel great about this line. This is one of my favorite lines of the entire day. I'm a very big believer that Gus Edwards is bad at football at the professional level. I just truly don't think he has a cutout to be a running back anymore. Especially not an RB1. He's losing his snap count. He's still seeing the rush count, so that's something we do have to note. And if we scroll down on the Fantasy Life Utilization Report, again, if you're not on Fantasy Life, you should get on Fantasy Life. I think we have a code BDG when you sign up. It's pretty cool, but it's a great tool to use. You can see all these numbers you have. Obviously, when J.K. Dobbins was playing, he was seeing the bulk of all the snaps, damn near all of the work, running all the routes. But now you look at Gus Edwards and we look at these recent weeks, right, without J.K. Dobbins. So I kind of scratched the week J.K. Dobbins played. So week 12, I just kind of scrapped out the window. Kamani wasn't activated. It was a wash of a game. We go to week 13 and on, right? Week 13, 53% of snaps, you like it. Then it sees 44% of snaps. You're like, okay. 27% of snaps. You're like, okay, what the fuck is happening? Well, obviously his rushing attempt line is going up. So you're seeing more rushing attempts, but he's seeing lower snap counts because the Chargers aren't running the ball as much. Well, yeah, that's because they can't. They can't run as well because Gus Edwards isn't a good running back. Kamani Vidal is not the best runner in the world. So he's looking to start to be just losing snap counts. I think by the end of this game, Kamani Vidal, by the end of the season, I think is going to be taking most of this work. Also, he's not running damn near any routes. Started 32, 28, 5, as Kamani's going up from 21, 42 to 43. He's seeing almost all of the passing work there. With Gus Edwards losing the rushing work, he's not an explosive back. He literally, and I quote, has the 3rd lowest explosive run rate in the NFL. On a per carry basis. He just does not break runs at all. And honestly, I'm shocked it wasn't number 1. But again, he just doesn't break runs. He's only hit over this line in 2 of 10 games this season. This Denver defense, 2 opposing running backs this season, allows the 10th fewest long runs. They allow the fifth fewest rushing yards in general. I think this is going to have to be a pass-heavy game for Justin Herbert if they want to win this one. It could end up being a shootout. You never know. I don't think so. I think I'm going to lean the route that it's not, but you never know, and I think Gus Edwards easily goes under 11 rush yard total in one run. But pairing with that, going off that same logic, we're going to take Kamani Vidal. Again, it's not on here right now, but Kamani Vidal over 10.5 receiving yards. I got this at -113 on FanDuel. Again, you can see this screen on Pickett when you sign up using code BDG. You'll tell me so you can see whatever picks you do like, you don't like, which picks you like when you want to fade, whatever you want to tell. If you fade me, I'll never take offense to that. I'll be like, okay, that's fine. You can have your own opinion and your own research. I also suggest every time I take a pick, you also do your own research so you're not just blindly tailing and then you get mad at me because you should do your own research. Obviously, I do a ton for you on the baseline, but just look up some if you feel good about it. If you just read my write-up and like, hey, I feel great about this line, then take it. If you feel the complete opposite way, then fade it. Sure, it doesn't matter to me, but we're going to take Kamani Vidal over 10.5 receiving yards. I feel fantastic about this line. Kamani, again, as we saw before on the fantasy utilization report, is seeing almost all of the routes run for running backs. Obviously, there's like the Hassan Haskins of the world that's going to take snaps, but he ain't going to see no damn routes run. Gus Edwards ain't running no routes. So it looks like Kamani Vidal is going to be the clear pass catching back. He saw 13 yards last game. I think he's going to see something similar to that again in this game. If we go to his props at cash of just the receiving stuff, obviously it's going to look horrible because he was a healthy scratch for half of these games. And then he played like 20% of most of these games. So you look at the 2 games, he's seen actual snaps. He saw 3 targets last game. That's the game I'm really looking at. Kansas City's one of the best teams against running backs in the passing game. But I'm looking at targets for running backs. You look at running backs. This team, this Denver defense, again, ton of man coverage, which leaves these running backs in great opportunities against linebackers, allow the 4th most receiving yards and the 6th most targets, right? So that's awesome, as well as the 4th most receptions. So they're allowing the 6th most targets, 4th most receptions, 4th most receiving yards to opposing running backs this season. That makes me feel fantastic about this line. Obviously, receiving long, they've allowed some big catches. They allowed a big catch the first time you play Kamani. I don't think it's going to happen again, but you get my point. If they allow a ton of receiving yards to opposing backs this season, you go and look at the backs they've played so far. Nick Chubb even went over his receiving yard line. Jerome Ford, Amir Abdullah, Bijan Robinson, Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt, all these. Derrick Henry went over his receiving line. Miles Sanders went over his receiving line. All these backs went over their receiving yard mark. I think, again, Kamani can do it as he's going to be the clear receiving back in this offense. It's a sneaky value play. It's only on FanDuel from what I'm understanding and Underdog. So make sure you take advantage and grab it there. And the last play you guys have already seen, but it is my Broncos play, and it is going to be Corin Sun to go for 59.5. Receiving yards. I feel fantastic about this line. You can get it for a -130 value, which is a stretch. Yeah, I understand that. If you want to take a 63, 62.5, you can for a little bit better value, but I really like 59.5. 60 yards feels absolutely fantastic in this game for Corin Sun, who's been killing this line. It has not even been close. 59.5. Again, he's hit this in 8 of 14 games, averaging 63 receiving yards per game. And look at the past 5 games. But look at the past 10 games. Damn near 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 of the last 7 games, he's crushed over this line. Had over 100 yards in 3 of those games, 97 yards on one of those games. He's the clear wide receiver 1 in this offense. Now, again, against wide receivers, you look at it and you're like, all right, well, this is a very tough matchup. The Chargers have been one of the best defenses against wide receivers, but you also have to factor in that came at a heavy expense because of the Chargers' run game a few weeks ago. When you look at their run game a few weeks ago, you're probably like, well, what does that have to do with defense? Well, it allowed the Chargers to control the clock, which allowed less total yards in the game and very low totals of scores. But now they go into games where they're going to have to throw the ball more. It's going to have to turn to more shootouts. It's going to have to be more high-scoring games. They're not going to be able to run the ball quite as much as they want to. Now, again, I still am leaning the lower in this game. I still don't think it's going to be a huge shootout. But I think there's going to be enough points scored here to where we feel comfortable about Corin Sun seeing these targets that he's been seeing. Look at the past few games. 11, 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 9. If he sees 9 targets in the game, I feel fantastic about him going over this line. He had 1 dud for 3 receptions against Indy. Outside of that, he's been just balls out, 100% the wide receiver one in this offense, seeing all the volume in this offense. Guys like Mike Evans had 160 yards. Drake London had 86 yards. Very similar build to Corin Sun. Jamar Chase, obviously 75 yards. He's just different. T. Higgins, similar build, 148 yards. These big body receivers that can track the ball down all have big days against this Chargers defense. I think we're going to see something similar here with Corin Sun and the pure volume that he's seeing as he's taking up the clear highest target share on this team. I think he has a big day here. I think he gets another long reception and easily soars over this line. So those are my plays that I have for today. I feel really good about them. Let me know your guys' thoughts and what you guys think about these plays. Again, make sure to sign on Underdog and pick it using code BDGE. And I'll catch you guys next time. Make sure to like, subscribe, all to the fun shit down below, and join the Discord. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.